Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of the Truth. Right, hopefully I'm on the finishing stretch of this long list, unless I think of some more. So I've got rubbish in the ground and the sea. So obviously if anyone's been watching Sky News, they've seen all the plastic and stuff that's floating around in the oceans, going inside the animals, fish. I know they like to tell us about this, even though I suspect most of this stuff isn't coming from us on the beach throwing a few straws. I suspect most of it's coming from these big industries. Although I saw on Sky News today they were talking about government saying not to throw plastic away anymore because it's being sold to China and then it's getting into the oceans. I don't know what's going on with that. Don't tell me all this time people have been separating out their plastics and food waste and all that kind of stuff, and it's all been shipped somewhere else, and they've just been putting it in their normal recycling. It wouldn't surprise me. And obviously putting it in the ground as well. I mean, this is the problem, because we have so much of manufactured things. Think about all the televisions, all those big tube televisions. Where are they all? Are they in the ground somewhere? Hopefully some of the bits were taken out and could be melted and reused, but imagine all the old phones, all the old radios, all the old record players. We manufacture so much stuff, not organic, and then stick it in the ground. Geez, it sounds like such a silly idea when you think about it, but I don't know if there's any better one. Weapons, obviously weapons. I suppose like people have used them to kill animals when we needed to get food and things, but most of the time now weapons are used against each other, killing each other, which leads on to the next one, which is wars. I don't need to explain why wars are bad. A lot of the time wars are manipulations of our mind to be able to take over different parts of land or to take certain services or things, for future benefit of the country that is invading or so-called defending another country. There's lots of wars you can look into and you see the history of those. I think it was the Moore guy who did a YouTube video about that, or somebody, about the different wars and the real meanings behind them. And I was thinking just now, I was speaking to my wife on the phone, and I was thinking about, for some reason, because she was with the twins and I was hearing them cry, and then I was sort of imagining like if I was on the phone with her and something devastating happened and how I would hear those last moments and stuff. And then afterwards I was thinking about this list and how, the subject of war. Imagine during the Iraq wars, the illegal wars of Iraq and Afghanistan, people could have been, speaking to their loved one on the phone as a fighter jet came over and dropped a bomb on their house by mistake or on purpose, or because it was believed to be terrorists in there or close to some other building that they thought was somehow being used negatively. And they experienced that. What I imagined, which, explaining it at first, you probably think, look at him sort of, worrying about things that will never happen, yeah? But these kinds of cruelty, these kinds of things that actually have happened, are happening to actual people like me and you. And we, while our governments, we're standing by, allowing them to commit these atrocities against each other, against our own fellow brothers and sisters, because we are all one species, separated through name and time and space, as it were. Wasted time, effort, manufacturing. So that's to do with, I've mentioned that many times, this idea of making like billions of different types of cars just because you can put one Mercedes on it, and BMW on the other, Ford on the other one, and Jaguar on the other, whatever you want to say, just to sort of, because of the idea of money and competition, that's a way to make money. It's, I'll start up a car factory and make cars, or I'll make another new fairy liquid, washing up powder, I should say, washing up liquid, and give it a new name, and then I'll sort of manufacture these and create jobs and etc. And a lot of it is just, if you take out this idea of money and the fact that the need to to work to somehow survive in this life, or that if you don't work, then people think, oh, you're a waster. If you take all that out of it and you actually look at things, without money and all that kind of, that you feel that you need to work to be part of this cog, then the system, and then you see that, wait a minute, we're wasting our time and effort. Surely there's better things we could be doing, rather than manufacturing how many different washing up powders, how many different washing up liquids, how many different, I don't know, there's loads of these things, isn't it? If you go into any major supermarket, you see the same products just made by different companies. Some are the same company and they make a cheaper version and they put it under a different name, like Procter & Gamble. They probably make loads of them, they probably even make it for their competition. Can you imagine? So that's just out of the need to make money. But it's such a waste. Alright, so then these ones is cruelty to animals. Obviously, since I saw that Vegan Warrior, and I've seen other ones previously, PETA and RSPCA videos of the cruelty that's done to animals. Surely there's a better way for us to live, that we don't need to do those types of things. Or at least if some people do need to eat meat, at least it can be done in a humane way, rather than some of the ways that I've seen. Or I don't know, maybe that's so next one, why we don't help each other. Yeah, because we don't. A lot of times we will see something down the street. You see someone poor, no one's going to go and feed him or give him, what some people do, but or give him shelter or this, that and the other. We rely on authority and somebody else to do these things. Whereas we're all one species, why aren't we helping each other? But that's a mindset problem to do with the teaching side of things as well. We believe in stories. We don't always know that they're actual stories, but there's a lot of myth building that comes with everything that's around us, until you start to think about, why do we believe in this, why do we do this, why do we think this? And a lot of it is because we've been told stories, like how we got here and all that kind of stuff. Like the first lesson podcast I did. No, that's the truth, isn't it? We don't know where we are, we don't know who we are, we don't know a lot of these things, but no one ever teaches us that, because they think that, no, you can't teach uncertainty, that make people scared, or that make people what? It's better to give them a story and then they easily conform, because you've made the walls of the barrier for them. We lie. Well, we all know about humans lying. Now, that's another thing. A lot with these things is, are they intrinsic? It's like I heard Jamie Brown talking to Mel about, on Jamie Brown's channel, about like, could we live without leaders? And I've also questioned this as well. Do we need authority? Even this list I've mentioned, that sometimes we need authority for police and all those types of things. But I don't know, is that if we lived in a better world where we didn't have all these money and all this rubbish, all these lies, would we have criminals? We might not have criminals, because everyone would have everything they need. Why would they need to do bad things? Are these bad things because of media, because of things that are ingrained through people, that they're learnt? Are babies, when they're born, have these thoughts, or are they learnt through time, through us, through what we say, with us not being proper in our duty of bringing up these children? Are we bringing up these monsters, as it were? So of course that's the problem. So we don't know that, whether we need these authorities or not, or we could just all live harmoniously with that. But it's difficult to picture that, because we have our own mindset, which has been taught to us over years. So it's like, if you had someone from the 14th century come and live now, they wouldn't be able to. They would think, oh, why are you living like this? It's the same as if we went back to the 14th century. We think, why are you living like that? But both of them lived the way that they lived, so they managed it. So maybe these things are possible. It's just the problem is we're limited by our own mindset about how we see things. And that's because we've been taught how to see things. And so how can you unsee the things that you see? It's a bit like when you first come to Flat Earth. What's this now? We're scared to challenge and we fear repercussions. Yeah, but I think this is also to do with the way we're taught, to fear authority, fear the police, fear the government, don't make any mistakes, don't question people. People often tell you that, like, oh, if you want to go get something, you're going to go to a mortgage or you're going to go to an interview or whatever, don't challenge them, don't say this, don't say that. It's not about being polite or not polite, it's about actually standing up for what you believe. But sometimes you find if you do that, then you face repercussions because people will use their authority or power against you, even though, as I've said before, there is no such thing because we're all equal, isn't it? We can all shout the same. But it's weird how we've allowed that to happen, like you have a manager and I'm a worker and I bow down to his authority, as it were. He will tell me what to do, but wait a minute, we're both actually the same. It's an illusion that we've created. A lot of all this system is illusions. That ties into the We Like Stories. And the last one is we act like sheep, we follow. And this, I think, is to do with all that I've just said. That is the way that we're brought up to be part of. You're English, you're American, you're African, you're South African, you're Norwegian, you're Zimbabwean, you're Egyptian, you're Chinese, whatever you are, you're Russian. That we put ourselves in these pens of countries and of authorities, of schools, of education, of hospitals, all these buildings, all these prisons, as it were, all these borders around ourselves, our borders around our mind, the boxes we put everything, that this is in this box and this is in this box. So I think that leads us to not discern, not to think about things, to just act like sheep, to just follow. And I think that's probably the most dangerous one, because that's what leads us into this situation where, if anyone challenges something, they won't be able to, because they just want to follow, because they don't know that, wait a minute, we all should be individual and we all should be able to live our lives without the need of someone telling us what to do. We should all be responsible enough to know what's right and wrong, good and best things to do. But the problem is we've been tainted, and we have this because of well, I suppose the thing is, maybe we know no better because we started from thousands of years ago, if that's true, and we slowly evolved into this mindset that we have now, that maybe it's not our own fault, that that it's the best that we could come up with. But we need to sort of stop and say, wait a minute, let's actually look at these things. Let's not just do things because we've done them forever. Let's not just do the things of the past. Let's not live the past life in the future. Let's actually stand in the present and look at things and say, wait a minute, how can we do things differently? And believe that, yes, we can do them, because why can't we do them? We make our own choices. Take care, take it easy. God bless and peace.